Okay, for any of those who ever wondered how a clutch works, this is essentially, well essentially this is how it works, right? There's your engine, Subaru, so it's a Boxer. That's the flywheel, so it's attached to the engine of the crankshaft, so it's obviously going engine speed. So 2000 RPM, that's going 2000 RPM. And at 3000, that's going 3000, so it's attached directly. This part here is your clutch plate. Here people talking about your clutch getting worn. That's the part that wears those clutch linings. This little piece here is a lining tool, but you can imagine that is your gearbox, because that's exactly what the gearbox looks like at the end of it. See now that there spins freely. When your foot's on the clutch, that's what's happening. That is not attached to that when your foot's on the clutch. That shaft there is essentially, there's your gearbox, there's your input shaft, which is here. Okay, so that goes through the clutch plate. And when the clutch is engaged and attached to the flywheel and going flywheel speed, that's spinning at flywheel speed, so that goes through your gearbox. And you select your gears, and then obviously the drive train takes up and does the rest. But when your foot's on the clutch, that's not spinning. Or if your clutch isn't there, like i.e. these pieces, the clutch lining has disappeared enough, like as in this guy's case, then that's just going to spin freely with your foot off the clutch, and you're going to have no drive. Okay, so once I put the pressure plate on, I'll show you. That's a pressure plate. Okay, that's job is to squish that plate against the flywheel. So when your foot's off the clutch, this is squishing the clutch plate against the flywheel, and therefore driving that shaft. So a lot of pressure here. Obviously a little bearing, I'll show you. A bearing presses on here and presses those fingers down, and that's what disengages that plate, takes the weight off the clutch plate. And that's how a clutch works. So when it's blown, it looks like that. That's pretty bad. In fact, that's rooted. It's the one that came out of this car. And there's the clutch lining. It's hard to see that it's rooted, but it is. You can see the thickness. There isn't any. In fact, there's pieces of it on the floor. But anyway, that's what happens. So that is how a clutch works. There you go.